Plato's escape plan, breaking out of reality's prison. What if the watch on your wrist isn't just ticking off the minutes of your day, but the bars of your prison? What if that steady, reliable rhythm of past, present, and future isn't the bedrock of reality, but the very architecture of a cosmic cage we were all born into? The ancient Greek philosopher Plato described time as the moving image of eternity, and that wasn't just poetry. For him, it was a diagnosis. A diagnosis of a prison so vast, so complete, that most of us don't even see the walls. But Plato didn't just leave us with a diagnosis. He left behind something else, an escape plan. The only question is, are you ready to break out? Chapter 1. The Diagnosis, the Prison We Don't See. Let's be clear, the prison we're talking about has no steel bars, no armed guards, no physical walls. It's a prison for the mind, built from perception, assumption, and the comforting lies we tell ourselves every day. To understand this, we have to travel back more than 2,400 years to a story Plato told in his masterpiece, The Republic. It's called The Allegory of the Cave, and it's the ultimate blueprint for our shared confinement. Imagine a group of people who've lived their entire lives chained deep inside a cave. From birth, they're bound so they can't move or even turn their heads. All they can see is the blank wall in front of them. Behind them, a huge fire is blazing. Between the fire and the prisoners, there's a path where puppeteers walk, carrying statues of animals, trees, and all sorts of objects. The fire casts the shadows of these objects onto the wall. For the prisoners, these flickering shadows aren't just images, they are reality. The echoes from the puppeteers seem to be the sounds of the shadows themselves speaking. The prisoners spend their days naming the shadows, predicting their movements, even holding competitions to see who's the sharpest observer of their shadow play. They have no concept of the real objects, the fire, or the world outside. Their entire existence is a flat, two-dimensional show of light and dark. Now ask yourself an uncomfortable question. How do you know you're not one of those prisoners? It sounds absurd, right? You can turn your head, you can walk around, you're free. But are you? Plato's allegory isn't about physical chains, it's about mental ones. It's a story about mistaking a limited, filtered version of reality for the whole truth. The prisoners in the cave think they're free. They think they're masters of their world, experts on the reality of the shadows. They have no clue their reality is a curated show, a mere reflection of a higher, more complex truth. They are inmates in a prison they cannot see, and because they can't see it, they have no desire to escape. This is the first and most terrifying thing about the prison. It's invisible. It's a cage built from the unquestioned assumptions that define your world. Chapter 2. Agitating the Problem, the Shadows on Your Wall. Plato's allegory might sound like some ancient abstract thought experiment, but it has never been more relevant than it is right now. The cave is no longer a dark, damp cavern. It's bright, it glows, and it fits in the palm of your hand. Think about the world you experience. Where do you get your information? Your news? Your sense of what's important? What's beautiful? What's true? For most of us, the answer is a screen. The shadows on the wall are no longer cast by firelight. They're cast by blue light. They are the endless scroll of your social media feed, the sensational headlines, the perfectly curated lives of influencers. These are the modern shadows. And just like the shadows in the cave, they are a flat, distorted, and highly manipulated version of reality. The puppeteers are no longer people carrying statues. They are algorithms, designed with one overriding purpose: to keep your eyes glued to the wall. They learn what you fear, what you desire, what makes you angry, and they feed you an endless stream of shadows perfectly tailored to your emotional triggers. You see a political scandal from one side, and the algorithm makes sure you see 100 more, each one reinforcing your outrage. The other side of the story? It's not just hidden from you. In your cave, it doesn't even exist. You see images of perfect bodies and luxurious vacations, and the algorithm quietly plants the seed that your own life is inadequate, that you need to buy this product or follow that trend to feel whole. The shadows of money, power, and success dance on our modern cave walls, and we mistake them for the true meaning of life. This creates what we now call echo chambers or filter bubbles. But Plato had a much better name for it thousands of years ago: a cave. You're shown a version of the world that confirms your biases, inflames your emotions, and keeps you staring. And just like the original prisoners, we become experts on these shadows. We argue about them, defend them, and build our identity around them. We mistake a curated feed for the world. We mistake a tweet for a nuanced argument. We mistake a 15-second video for a lived experience. This isn't a knock on technology itself, it's a diagnosis of our relationship with it. We are the prisoners staring at the wall. The tech companies, media outlets, and political machines, they are the puppeteers, and their goal isn't your enlightenment. Their goal is your attention, your engagement. The first step to escape is to see these digital images for what they are, not reality, but a pale, thin, and often deceptive imitation of it. Chapter 3: The Architecture of the Prison, Time and the World of Forms. But the prison is deeper than just the manipulations on our screens. Those are just the shadows. Plato's diagnosis goes to the very foundation of reality. To understand the true nature of our cage, we have to grasp one of his most profound ideas: the theory of forms. Imagine I ask you to think of a circle. What do you see in your mind? Is it a perfect circle? If you tried to draw it, would it be flawless? Of course not. Every circle ever drawn, every physical circle that exists, a wheel, a coin, a ripple in water, is imperfect. Yet, you know what a perfect circle is. You can recognize all these imperfect copies as circles because you have a concept of the ideal, perfect circle. For Plato, that perfect circle isn't just an idea, it's real. He called it a form. These forms are the perfect, eternal, and unchanging blueprints of everything that exists in our physical world. There is a form of tree, a form of dog, and even forms for abstract concepts like justice, beauty, and goodness. The physical world we experience through our senses is what Plato called the realm of becoming. It's a world of constant change, decay, and imperfection. Every physical tree is just an imperfect, temporary copy of the one true, eternal form of tree. Our world is the world of the shadows on the cave wall. It's a reflection of a higher, more real world, the realm of being, where the perfect forms exist. Now, here's where the true architecture of our prison is revealed. The forms are eternal and unchanging. They exist outside of time. They don't have a past or a future, they simply are. Our world, the world of copies, is defined by change. A seed becomes a tree, which eventually dies. Nothing stays the same. And what's the engine of all this change? What's the mechanism that ensures our world is a constantly flowing, unstable copy? It's time. In his dialogue, the Timaeus, Plato gives us his chilling definition. He says when the divine craftsman, the demiurge, created the cosmos, he wanted to make it like the eternal world of the forms. But a physical thing can't be truly eternal. So he created the next best thing, a moving image of eternity. This moving image, which proceeds according to number and motion, is what we call time. Think about what this means. For Plato, time isn't the bedrock of reality. Eternity is the state of perfect, unchanging being. Time is a derivative, a copy, a feature of this lower, imperfect world. It's the system that guarantees everything in our universe is in constant flux, always transitioning from what it was to what it will be, but never simply being. It is the relentless driver of birth, growth, and decay. It's the cosmic cage separating us from the true, unchanging reality of the forms. We aren't just prisoners of false ideas. We are prisoners of the very flow of existence, trapped in the moving image and barred from the eternity it reflects. Call to action. This is a deep and unsettling thought. The idea that time itself is a feature of an imperfect, shadow-like reality can change how you see everything. If you're finding this exploration valuable, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We journey into these profound ideas every week, trying to find the keys to unlock our own minds. Now, let's get back to the most important part. If Plato diagnosed this cosmic prison, did he also show us the way out? Chapter 4. The Escape Plan, the Ascent from the Cave. The answer is a resounding yes. Plato's philosophy is not an exercise in despair. It's a roadmap to freedom. The allegory of the cave doesn't just describe the prison, it details the arduous, step-by-step journey of escape. This is the true escape plan. Step 1. Breaking the chains. Radical questioning. The escape begins with a single, revolutionary moment. Imagine one of the prisoners is suddenly freed and forced to stand up and turn around. For the first time, he sees the fire, the puppeteers, the statues, the source of the shadows. This represents the beginning of philosophy. It's the act of questioning everything you take for granted. It's the moment you turn away from the screen, look up, and ask, is this real? Is this true? Or is this just a shadow? This first step is an act of intellectual rebellion, the decision to stop passively consuming the reality presented to you and start actively investigating it for yourself. It's the courage to doubt. Step 2. The pain of the light, confronting truth. This journey is not a pleasant one. Plato is very clear about this. When the freed prisoner first sees the fire, the light pains his eyes. He's confused. The shadows he knew his whole life seem more real and clearer than these baffling new objects. He wants to turn back to the familiar comfort of the wall. This is the pain of confronting difficult truths. When we begin to question our deeply held beliefs, whether political, religious, or personal, it hurts. The light of a new, complex reality can be blinding. It's much easier to retreat to the simple black and white world of shadows. Growth is painful. Anyone who has ever had their worldview shattered knows this feeling. The escape plan demands that you endure this pain and push forward. Step 3. The Ascent, the Dialectic and Reason. Next, the prisoner is dragged up the steep, rugged path out of the cave. This difficult ascent represents the process of education. For Plato, true education isn't about stuffing facts into your head. He says, the ability and means of learning is already present in the soul. Education is the art of turning the whole soul from the world of darkness to the world of light. How? Through the practice of what Plato called the dialectic. This is the rigorous, logical process of question and answer, of challenging definitions and testing hypotheses to seek truth through reasoned argument. It's the climb from mere opinions about shadows to genuine knowledge about the forms. It's the hard work of learning to think critically, to separate truth from falsehood, and to slowly build a rational understanding of the world based on logic, not just popular opinion. This is the intellectual grind. It's reading the hard books, having the difficult conversations, and training your mind to see beyond the surface. Step 4. Reaching the sun, contemplating the good. Finally, the escaped prisoner emerges into the world above. At first, he's completely blind. The sunlight is overwhelming. So he starts by looking at shadows, then reflections in the water, then the objects themselves, and then the moon and stars at night. Finally, his eyes grow strong enough to look directly at the sun. In the allegory, the sun represents the highest of all forms, the form of the good. For Plato, the form of the good is the ultimate source of all reality, truth, and knowledge. Just as the sun illuminates the world and gives life, the form of the good is what makes all other forms knowable and gives them their very existence. To behold the form of the good is the ultimate goal of the philosopher. It is to grasp the fundamental principle of the universe, the why behind everything. This is enlightenment. It is the final escape from the prison of the cave and of ignorance itself. Chapter 5. The Philosopher's Burden, Returning to the Cave. But the story doesn't end there. The escape isn't just for you. Having seen the sun, the escaped prisoner now understands the pathetic condition of his fellow prisoners. He feels pity for them. And so, he makes a choice. He goes back down into the cave. He has a duty to return and try to free the others. This is the philosopher's burden. The goal of enlightenment isn't a selfish escape. It's to gain the wisdom needed to help others. But what happens when he returns? His eyes, now used to the light, can no longer see the faint shadows on the wall. He stumbles in the darkness. When he tries to tell the others their reality is just a shadow play, they laugh at him. Hey, say his journey has ruined his eyes and his mind. And if he tries to unchain them, Plato warns they would seize him, and, if they could, they would kill him. This is maybe the most tragic and realistic part of the allegory. People often don't want to be freed. They will violently defend the walls of their own prison. To challenge someone's fundamental worldview is to risk being seen as a fool or an enemy. The person who returns to the cave with knowledge is a threat to the established order of the shadows. This is the fate of the truth-teller, from Socrates himself to countless others throughout history who dared to challenge the illusions of their time. The escape plan comes with a heavy price, the responsibility to return and the risk of being rejected by the very people you're trying to save. Conclusion: your personal escape plan. So what does this all mean for you right now? Plato's allegory isn't just a story. It's a mirror. The cave is a metaphor for any mental prison we find ourselves in, a prison of dogma, ideology, personal bias, or simply unexamined assumptions. The escape is not a physical journey, it's an internal transformation. It's the commitment to living a philosophical life. It begins by accepting the possibility that you might be wrong. It means cultivating the habit of asking, why? Why do I believe this? Where did this idea come from? Is it based on reason, or is it just a familiar shadow I've grown comfortable with? The escape is about deliberately exposing yourself to the light. It's reading books by people you disagree with. It's having conversations with people who have different life experiences. It's learning to value truth more than the comfort of being right. It is training your mind to be a fine-tuned instrument for perceiving reality, not just a passive receptor for shadows. The prison of time, the moving image of eternity, is the ultimate context for this struggle. We are born into a world of change and decay, a world of becoming. But through the power of our minds, through reason, we can glimpse the eternal. We can grasp the timeless truths, the forms that lie beyond the relentless flow of time. The escape from the cave is the human soul's rebellion against its temporal confines. Plato laid out the map. He diagnosed the prison, he described the world outside, and he gave us the painful, step-by-step path to get there. The door to the prison isn't locked from the outside. It's locked from within, by our own fear and complacency. So I'll leave you with the final and most important question. What mental prison might you be living in without realizing it? What shadows are you mistaking for reality? The escape plan is in your hands. The only question that remains is, will you take the first step? Call to action. I'd love to know what you think. What are the most powerful modern-day shadows you see on the cave wall? Share your thoughts and your own cave experiences in the comments below. It's in discussing these ideas together that we help each other find the way out. And if you're ready for the next stage of this journey, be sure to check out our video on Aristotle's search for purpose and how it offers a different kind of map to a meaningful life. Thank you for thinking with me today.